Hello guys, welcome back to Pause and welcome back to World Discovery. This is part 17 and this is our Epcot World Discovery World Showcase style build thing here in Planet Coaster. So apologies, there's not been an episode of this for a while. It's been Christmas, I've had a lot of family stuff, so I do apologise. But I'm slowly getting back into it now, and that's what we're doing today. So the first thing I need to mention, and a few people did mention it in the last episode in the comments, I put in the same ride. So the Monte Leone thing that I put in underneath the Eiffel Tower was exactly the same ride we used for the Sombrero in the Mexican area. My head wasn't in it the other day, I wasn't thinking, and yeah, I put in the same ride twice, so I do apologise. So what we've done in this one, the first thing we did is just swapped it out. I tried a few different variants, but the balloon ride has worked out quite well. That fits nicely in the area, and there's no clipping or anything like that, so that's what we are going for. So any name suggestions, let me know. And we'll do a big naming pass in the next one. So a few people did put some amazing suggestions in for the shops as well, so thank you for those. We will do some naming very, very soon. So in terms of today's episode, I know last time I did say we're pretty much done with the France area and that we're moving on to the next country. I came back in, I looked at it and thought, you know what, we can do better here. It's quite a small area, one little street, one ride. I don't think it was as good as it could be, so I thought we'll utilise a little bit of this space behind the restaurant building and put in a little gardens, because I want to bring in this kind of non-theme park aspect to this build. A little bit like I did in the Mexico area, we put a walkway in, like a little viewing area over the waterfall. And in this, obviously, for this country we're doing here, we're putting in this little garden. So I want to bring in these little bits and pieces which are sort of off the beaten track, where guests can go and just have a little relax. You know, sit in a garden, have a drink or whatever. You know, is just have a little sit down and take away a bit of the hustle and bustle from the rest of the park, which is what you can do in Epcot. And this sort of style park, they normally do have these like little areas where you can just sort of wander through. Like I believe Epcot has like a little area where there's some trains and things that go around. I'm so sorry, my throat's messed up today. Yeah, like a little model train area, and there's a few little gardens and seating bits and things like that. So that's the kind of aspect we're trying to bring into this park. So that's what we're doing today, putting in the gardens. The main bulk of the second half of this video, I'm going to jump into Tejicam, the first person view, and we'll just have a look around the whole park because we've not done it for a while, and then we can just get a gist of where we are. So that's something that's coming up towards the end. So yeah, it's not the most footage in today's episode, so for that I do apologise. But like I said, I just wanted to tie up a few loose ends, swap that ride out, and put in the gardens, and then it'd be just nice to have a look around. Like, we are 17 episodes in now. And we are at country number 3, so it's going to be a long series. But you know, that's just how it is. That's just how my style is. Unfortunately, I do take my time longer than I probably should. Generally, the idea for this gardens is nothing spectacular, to be honest with you. We're using very subtle colours and various different sort of plants, but it all kind of comes together in the end, as you'll see in a few minutes. A couple of little water features and fountains, again, just to give some height really to everything, as I want to sort of break up the flatness of the land. And then we sort of put a hilly kind of berm at the back of it to break up the actual area itself. Pardon me, I'm so sorry. And then behind that, eventually we might put in like a staff road or staff access or something like that. We do need to start thinking about the actual operations of the park at some point. And part of that will be staff access and the realism side of things, putting hotels and amenities and stuff. So that is something we will do, maybe towards the end. I think we'll focus mainly on the park first, and then we'll start doing all the nice stuff, like I say, towards the end of the build. So yeah, put in the fountain. I like these fountains. I mean, it's not strictly very Parisian, very French or anything like that, but I think it looks quite nice. I thought I wanted to put in a few variants here, so we'll go for these like red bushes. I go down to the level and then they're huge. They're absolutely massive. So we drop those down, and then we put in some red flowers here to give that to fill in the gaps. And I think, like I say, it turns out quite nice actually. It's nothing spectacular. I'm not going to sit here and be like, I am the master of gardens, because I'm not. I know I'm not. There's probably plants here. People who know more about this stuff are probably crying because I'm putting stuff together that would never belong together. But I'm sorry. I think it looks good from my perspective. But well, who am I? I'm just some knob. So yeah. So yeah, we finish with the little garden here. And I say, by the end of today's episode, and I know I said this last time, France is done. Other than a few tiny bits like lighting, audio, and benches and things, but that's something we can just keep adding to. The same for Mexico. We need to go back to that at some point to add a few tiny little finishing touches. But I think it's better to keep moving on and keep getting this park expanding, because there's always time to move back and go back into these areas and make changes. So that's what we'll do. So I do go into a bit more detail later on in the video about the next country, but yeah, I just still want your guys' suggestions for that, because that is what we are 100% definitely going to start in the next episode. And I know I said that last time, but I'm promising you this time we will start the next country very soon. And what I think we're probably going to do is put a coaster in it, because we haven't got a coaster in this part yet. So somehow I want to try and tie in a coaster to the next country. How we do that, I don't know at this moment. I haven't decided on what coaster, what country, what style, anything like that yet. So it's early days. But any suggestions, please let me know, and I would love to hear them and take them on board. So yeah, we're coming sort of to the end of the very small time-lapse section of this video today. Like I said, it is very small. Just putting in this gardens is pretty much all we did. And a few little bits off camera, but nothing major. And then we're going to jump over, like I said, into the entrance of the park in first-person mode and have a really in-depth look around to just sort of get a view of sightlines and things, and just try and understand where we are and where we're going with it, and see if everything works so far. Because I genuinely have not done a proper walk around this park since probably America, since we put the American zone in. So it's been a while since we've had a good look. So that's what we'll do in a few seconds, is jump over to that. And like I said before, I think the gardens come together quite nice. Yes, I could have done more. We could have done loads of stuff in here, but I think it turned out quite nice. So yeah, I hope you agree. Alright, so I thought it'd be fun to jump into sort of first-person mode, so Tegid Cam, and just have a look around really what we've done so far. We've not done this since we've been in the park, so I think it'd be good to just have a look. So I've just come back here to the entrance area, and I thought we'll just come in and have a look, and then this will give us a good view and a good idea of how the sort of sight lines are coming along as well. As that's something I am quite bearing in mind quite a lot in this park, is I want to make sure everything flows really nicely and that sight lines sort of work to the best of my ability. So yeah, obviously here is our entrance plaza. So for anybody who is new to the series, this is what it looks like. Yeah, it's relatively simple, a couple of nice buildings, but generally the main thing we went for here was sort of making it look nice and pretty, with nice flower beds and that kind of thing around. So that's sort of what we've tried to do around this area, to make it just look open but pretty, and that's what we went for. So the ticket booths are over that side, and then we have a few sort of utilities this side, toilets and cash machines, which are, I believe, inside from, I don't know, it's a long time ago. So then over here we've come to our main sort of hub area. Obviously this way will lead round into more countries eventually, and we'll all link up around the lake. And then we'll come over here to our incredible fountain. Again, massive thank you to Dead-Eyed Duck for making this amazing asset. Currently this is, I think, one of only 2 things in this entire park which are from the Theme Maker's Toolkit. And I think it works so well as a sort of central feature here in our fountain. A lovely globe, which honestly I love it. I love it so much. So that's what we've got here. These 2 little pavilions either side are probably going to house some kind of food cart or something eventually, like a merch stand, something like that. So anyway, let's start looking at our sightline. So from this view here we can see the Eiffel Tower in the distance, and also our big Washington Monument just here. So that, from peep perspective, is quite a good bit of depth actually. So let's head over to this bit, so looking out over to the lake and see it again from here. Yeah, I think it works quite well. You can just about see the pyramids in the distance as well. And this is kind of the angle I was going for. I want there to be little bits you can pinpoint, but not overly sort of focused on each area from when you're in the main country. Now, obviously, this view is going to change substantially as we get around a little bit further. As over this area, next to France, we're going to put in another country, and then eventually, directly opposite here, will be China. And then obviously, we've got all this other space around this side until we come back into this hub. It's going to be one big central park around the lake. So if we go through into America then, obviously we've got our lovely area over here where we've got the carousel and the sort of American diner hot dogs, and a nice little sort of pathway around here into the lake view area. Obviously this lake, man-made lake structure with this concrete is something we still need to finish off around this side, but that is something we will do as we get around the park a little bit more. And then down this way we've got our Washington Monument structure, which is just there for fun. There's nothing inside that or anything. It is literally just there for fun. Down here we go through to our Route 66 driving adventure ride, which is just that little indoor dark ride we did a long time ago. And then here we get to the American Feast, which is just home to a couple of restaurants. I was really proud of this building actually. It took me quite a while to do, and I was actually really happy with how it turned out. Then through this way, a few little odd shops here in the middle, coffee shop and a little rib shack. So all in all, I think the American areas come together really nicely. I like it. I like it. It's nice, and there's a couple of rides in there as well. So then from this angle, from the American area, I did put a lot of tree coverage in here, so you don't really see the Eiffel Tower. Obviously, you can see bits poking out, but generally, I want to keep each area quite contained. And I think that's worked quite well. Then obviously up this way we come out of America into Mexico, and we see our big temple structure, which is what houses our dark ride, and we do need to still finish off the inside of that to add a few restaurants and things, and then lots of little restaurants and canteens and shops all the way through the areas, which is what a lot of this park, as I keep mentioning, is going to contain. So a lot of different food outlets and things like that. And also, the one thing I do want to get into this, which I've started to do in, well, Mexico really, is having just little areas which are away from the park where you can come and just have a look around. So like this little sort of viewing area of the lake and the waterfall here, just to sort of get to one side, come away, and just gives you a nice view back over of the park. And that's obviously what we've done today in the France area. We've put in that new little flower sort of gardens area. A few more shops, restaurants again to give the area a nice feel and make it just feel bigger than it actually is. And then the other flat ride in this park. So then, in this area, sorry. Then we head over the bridge into France, which is the area we've pretty much just finished today, with our two restaurants over this side. And our new replacement ride, which, yeah, sorry about that, is now in here. And then obviously into this back portion, which we just put in today, which now becomes our gardens, which I think turned out quite nice. Now, the one thing obviously we had to do to put in that garden is remove the toilets, which we did put in here. So at some point, I'm going to put in some more toilets somewhere in the park. I might even use this doorway here. But yeah, we definitely need to put some loos in the French area at some point, but that's something we will do very, very soon. So the France area is pretty much complete. I want to keep it quite open, but it was feeling a little bit too small, hence why we put in this little back portion. And again, you don't have to go there. It's not the main traffic for the building or anything like that, but it's there if you want to have a little bit of a relax. We need to put some benches and things around, but all in all, we're pretty much there with it. So that brings us on to this next area. So we've got one more pathway up here, and this is where the next country is. So There's loads and loads of suggestions over the last video, so thank you ever so much for those. Please do keep your suggestions coming in, as this is the next bit we are going to start working on. This pathway is basically where we're going to start in the next episode. So yeah, get all your suggestions in, and we will decide very soon what country to do next. So yeah, that is basically it for today's video. I know it was a bit of a shorter one, but like I said, I wanted to just get a good look around the park, and then just finish off this area and just tie up all the loose ends, really. So yeah, thank you guys ever so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, please give us a like down below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with all of the content. And if you want to have a chat, jump onto the Twitter or the Discord. Links are in the description. And if you fancy helping out, you can head over to our Patreon page, which is links down below as well. Thank you guys ever so much, and I'll see you in the next episode. Cheers. Bye.